I'm Suli the rapper, and you are watching Bar for Bar with Suli. So here it comes is this really fascinating blend between old school hip hop vibes and rock, jazzy, soulful vibes, and a lot of references made within it are about hip hop culture. There's lots of stuff about basketball, and there's a couple of nods to some old school rappers as well. I was born with my bare feet, so do excuse me if I run without a pair of sneaks. As long as I just did it, I got ticks like dogs on the street. That we run from, we them seasoned athletes. These first four bars are sort of reminiscent of childhood and being in the neighborhood and being barefooted and not really having a care in the world. And there was always this one dog. There's always that one dog that would turn us all into sprinters. I'm a part of the last generation that played outside in the streets. Like Chef Curry, I had some people cooking a beat. But like James, I had to move away from the heat. I took an L and had to take several seats to see that I'm and one. My gift was made for the streets. There's a couple of double entendres in there. Obviously, Chef Curry in reference to Steph Curry. Like James had to move away from the heat. It's really old news, obviously, but LeBron James moving away from Miami Heat. And one is obviously the brand of basketball, which has a lot more tricks, but it's not really the thing that you see the most on TV. It's not the thing that's the most mainstream and commercial. And I feel like my music is similar to And One in that regard. Is a lot of it is underground. It is a lot more gritty than it is commercial. And mad beats, I love them, but they mess with my grind, cause I write to the pace of the metronome in my mind. How my method fits in the industry is still undefined. So I'ma head on a pilgrimage to seek and find. I started writing and rapping when I was 9, and I've been rapping essentially all my life and telling stories and expressing myself through rap all my life. But a lot of it really was this a cappella, underground, on a corner somewhere, in a classroom somewhere, and I think that's what that speaks to, is now transitioning to being a recording artist, getting a feel of writing on beats and having hooks and crafting and creating full-on songs. This song isn't mainstream, it's tributary. It's a tribute from the mind of a visionary. It flows from the heart like a pulmonary. I keep it 100 like a centenary. And here it comes now. Here it comes now. Here it comes now. Here it comes now. The hook sort of speaks to two different things. It's a bit reminiscent of, as a child, we had this computer game. It was a basketball game. Again, more basketball references. And it had, as one of the songs, Naughty by Nature's Hip Hop Hooray. And so I was heavily inspired by that. For the hook, this hip hop hey, oh, hey, oh. So I knew I really wanted that in this song, which made so many nods to hip hop culture and old school boom bap music. And then obviously the Here It Comes Now is a nod to the Jagari Chanda introduction within their song introduction, where he keeps repeating here it comes, until he says, here it comes now, and the guitar comes in. And the three producers who worked on this track did such a wonderful job of blending the rock inspirations as well as the hip hop inspirations throughout the song. Revolution will not be televised or publicized, and not just because I'm camera shy. I realized after I could see things with some real eyes, doing things for renown and fame would be ill-advised. Besides, I know clout don't mean a thing. I don't live above my means. I offer more than I can bring. I ain't never made it rain. I ain't never made it sing. Please let that sink in. Please let that simmer. Look, I ain't got no keys to no bimmer. Still count silver and still take the bus to Colima. Ain't never received no crutches in no brown manila, born sinner. But I've been born again and delivered. Obviously a throwback to the famous song by Beanie Man, Sim Simmer. Who's got the keys to my bimmer? It's something that everyone's familiar with, but broken down and changed in a way that reflects the reality of the situation where, I'm not rich, just not. But even the average person, you know, at some point, if you've been based in Lusaka, you have had to count your coins and you've had to take a bus to Kulima Tower. And interestingly enough, I wrote these lines while on a bus to Kulima, and I think being on the bus is such a great place to be inspired. It's a great place to people watch and be reminded of people's reality, because ultimately that's where stories are birthed from. Was convicted about stewarding the gifts that are my own, so I made a call and explode plus put me on. God, Father, like Coppola, the rest of skills I've honed, so like serving shawarmas in Coppola, rap game strong. The trilogy Godfather was directed by Coppola, and then obviously there's Coppola, the Copperbelt province, which at some point I feel produced the best shawarmas. I don't know if that's the reality at this point. I need to visit Coppola really soon, but that's sort of where that comes from is, you know, it's Coppola, it's shawarmas, it's the rap game, but it's also the rap game, like the bars, the lyrics, you get it. Rooted in the sacred, spreading seeds in the secular, committed to the cause, picked my cross on the regular, counted the cost and placed an order at the register, because Jesus paid it all and leaves change where he deliver. Couple of double entendres over there. Obviously, there's these references to payment and money, change, cost, you know, placed an order and delivering something, you know, a transaction. But then obviously there's this underlying theme of Jesus delivering, Jesus changing, Jesus transforming. So it's a bit of a double meaning of change and a double meaning of delivery. In the transaction of it, but in the transformation of my life personally, at least. Completely divine how he stepped in when I was weak, officially signed now. We just let the music speak, and I'm just a mouthpiece enabled by the paraclete, born with my bare feet, but now I rock a pair of cleats. One thing that I really love doing in verses and in songs is sort of harking back to the beginning. So at the beginning of the song, I say I was born with my bare feet, and I sort of conclude it with a change. It's born with the bare feet, now I rock a pair of cleats. Obviously cleats being the shoes that professional track and field runners wear. And it's just sort of this coming a full circle. It's starting really gritty, starting Chimwino plan, and ultimately coming to the place where I am now in diving into this music and storytelling space and releasing it to people. It's going from being a young kid who's just interested in hip hop and the culture and the expression to being this woman who is a recording artist, a rapper, and a good one at that. This has been Bar for Bar with Suli. Until next time.